So let's start doing some more interesting stuff with Spark and Scala. We're going to revisit the Movie Lens dataset that we started off the course with. And we're going to start with a simple example where we just try to find the most popular movie, the most rated movie in that dataset. But we're going to build on that to do more and more complex things and illustrate more and more features of Spark. So let's start our process now. So just to review the data format of the Movie Lens ratings data, the data file looks like this. It has a format where every line consists of a user ID, a movie ID, a rating, and a timestamp. So the way to interpret each row is user ID rated this movie, this rating at this time. Okay? So for example, user ID 196 watched movie 242, gave it 3 stars, and did it at whatever this timestamp represents. That's actually a epoch seconds format. There's a way to convert that to a real date, but it's not important because we're not using that data. So let's step back and think a bit. If I wanted to figure out the most popular movie, what do I need to figure out? All I need to figure out is how many times the individual movie was rated overall. I don't really care about the users, right? I can throw that away. I don't care about the times. I can throw that away. And I don't even care about the ratings themselves. All I care about is the fact that a movie was actually watched, that it actually appears in a given line. So that makes things a little bit simpler. So let's go look at the code and talk through it. So let's hop back in the Scala IDE and take a look at some code to find the most popular movie. So let's right-click on our package here and import from the class materials that you downloaded earlier. And we'll look for popularmovies.scala. Open that up. And we'll double-click that and take a look. So as I said, this is a very simple example reminiscent of some of the stuff we've done earlier in the course, but we're going to keep building on this to do more and more interesting things. Ultimately, we're going to build movie recommendations using this data. But we got to start somewhere. So we have all the usual boilerplate stuff, import the packages we need, define our main functions at the logging level, build a Spark context. Nothing interesting too far. But here we go with the actual meat of the problem. First thing we're going to do is load up the u.data file, which contains the movie rating data itself. And remember, that contains user ID, movie ID, rating, timestamp. But all I care is that a movie ID actually appears on that line. The only information that's actually relevant to me is the movie ID. So let's extract that with this map function. We're going to call map with this little inline function here, where we split up the data based on tab characters, because I know it's tab delimited. I take field number 1, which is the movie ID, and remember we start counting from 0 here, so it goes user ID, movie ID, rating, timestamp. So movie ID is field 1. And we're actually making this into a key value pair, where the key is the movie ID and the value is the number 1. You can probably see where this is going because this is similar to the other examples we've done where we do counts. So what we have at this point is a movies RDD that contains key value pairs of movie IDs and the value 1. And then we just call reduce by key to add up all the ones for each individual unique movie ID, and that gives us a count of how many times each movie appeared in the data set. Finally, we can just call sort by key to sort the results, collect them, and print them out. So not too complicated. Let's go ahead and do it. Run configurations, Scala application, popular movies, com.sundogsoftware.spark.popular movies, and run. Bang. It's amazing how fast it is once it actually gets going. So there you have it. We have a list of the most popular, most viewed, most rated movies in our dataset, and it turns out the winner is movie ID 50. But that's not very helpful now, is it? What does movie ID 50 mean? Well, it turns out there's a u.item file in the Movie Lens dataset that maps movie IDs to movie names and all sorts of other information about the movies. So to make this really useful and get some interesting data out of it, we're going to have to somehow merge that data in. So let's talk about how that works in the next lecture, and we'll learn what the most popular movie actually is.